Turkey Al-Sheikh went on Twitter Spaces yesterday and spoke about Inoue fighting in Saudi in December. If timelines match up, that would make sense for yourself to be. If Inoue is going to be in Saudi, that you want it to be against yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's speaking about his name's starting to do me head in, to be honest.
Yeah.
So the quicker the fight's made, the better.
How's it going, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. So yeah, over this past weekend, Nick Ball obviously had a fight against TJ Doheny in England. And I happened to watch that fight. It was a fight that I was interested in. Nick Ball, a British fighter, a very good fighter, exciting fighter. I would say that his best win is coming off of Raymond Ford. And he's one of, if not the best fighters at 126 pounds, Nick Ball. So I was interested. Obviously, TJ Doheny is someone that fought Naoya Inoue. So it's very interesting to see the comparison between the two. And who I thought, had the better performance. Obviously, both Naoya Inoue and Nick Ball both stopped TJ Doheny. Naoya Inoue got the job done a little bit quicker, but Nick Ball still got the job done in round 10. So yeah, good performance from Nick Ball. I thought he fought well. And obviously after the fight, Naoya Inoue mentioned the fact that originally he was laughing at the kick from Nick Ball, and that was a big talking point. I mean, number one, the referee didn't even give a point off for that, which I find a little bit outrageous. I mean, even after the fight, Nick Ball mentioned the fact that he was, happy the referee didn't disqualify him. I don't know about a disqualification, but that's a serious warning. I mean, you could probably get a point or 2 points taken off. TJ Doheny obviously had him in a headlock, which is not great, so he kind of brought it up on himself. But Nick Ball, I mean, he really went for it when he kicked him. So yeah, a little bit lucky to get away from that, without getting a point taken away or anything else. But ultimately, look, I mean, he was going to win the fight. I think TJ Doheny won a few of the early rounds, and then Nick Ball eventually ended up breaking him down. So yeah, obviously, Nick Ball, on the broadcast they mentioned the potential Naoya Inoue fight about 1 million times. And it was interesting to see Naoya Inoue, respond to that and really say to Nick Ball after the fight that, it's a fight that he wants. Inoue, mentioned that fight. And I think there's two things that are very interesting. I think number one, that pretty much confirms the fact that Naoya Inoue is going to move up in weight. Obviously, he's got a fight coming up in Vegas shortly in the summer. And then it looks like he's going to fight MJ Akhmadaliev later in the year. And I believe that the next move will be to move up to 126 pounds. In typical Naoya Inoue fashion, when he moves up in weight, he doesn't take warm-up fights. He tries to go for the best guy. We're talking about a guy that was undisputed at 118 pounds, moved up to 122 and went for the best guy in the division. Best guy in the division, everyone thought that was Stephen Fulton. Fought Stephen Fulton in fight one, and that was one of the best performances of his career. By beating Stephen Fulton in a fight where, I mean, Fulton really didn't win a round. So I expect him to do a similar thing against Nick Ball, move up in weight and go for the toughest challenge. And I think Nick Ball is a good fighter. Now, obviously, look, why are you guys here for the video? I know you guys want to hear my thoughts and my opinions on a potential fight if it does happen. Now, a lot of times with these fights, I think people go a little bit overboard. If you think, if you're from Britain and you think Nick Ball's going to win, I'm seeing people saying that Nick Ball's going to knock out Naoya Inoue. If you're a Naoya Inoue fan and you think he's going to win, you're going to say that, Naoya Inoue is going to stop Nick Ball in 2-3 rounds. I think it's always, important to find somewhere in the middle. I'm a Nick Ball fan, but based on my honest thoughts, and, I love Nick Ball. Good fighter, seems like, good dude and everything, like the guy. But based on what I saw from Nick Ball in that fight against TJ Doheny, I don't think that he beats Naoya Inoue. I don't want to sit here and say he's not ready because, I think he is ready for that fight. Is it a fight that I think he wins? No. Reason being, I think Nick Ball, I think he does make some mistakes. And I think Naoya Inoue is just someone you can't make mistakes against. Nick Ball is on that, he's kind of on that world level to elite. He's kind of in between that level, I would say. But I don't think you can, make the mistakes, and sometimes he comes in a little bit reckless. He lets his hands go, which is obviously good, but the more you open up against Inoue, he likes that. very sharp counter puncher. And he times you coming in. He's just a difficult man to beat. He's an all-round fighter. And I think that's a tough fight for Nick Ball. I think the interesting thing obviously is going to be, does Naoya Inoue, does his power translate at a higher weight class? It translated from 118 to 122, but is it going to translate from 122 to 126 when he does move up? So I think that will be the interesting thing. I think it's a great fight. It's a fantastic fight. It's a fan-friendly fight. But my initial thoughts, I do think that Naoya Inoue probably does beat Nick Ball. Maybe on points or a late stoppage. Like I said, I don't think Nick Ball is just some pushover. He's an exceptional fighter in his own right. But Naoya Inoue is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound #1. So I do think he deserves that respect. And I would favor him to win that fight if they were to fight. So as always, please remember to let me know your opinions in the comments below. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next video.